So this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Romeo and Juliet, 1996, almost 2 hours. Wasted life. 2 hours too long. 2 hours when I could have been cutting my toenails. Or doing something productive. It's got a lot of stars in it. I guess this was what Leo DiCaprio was doing prior to Titanic playing Romeo, or modern day Romeo. The thing I hated about this movie is they use Shakespearean language, and a lot of it is forced overacting rubbish. It has a feel of a 2-hour MTV video with all the crappy R&B music in between. Whatever was popular in 1996. It's also got Pete Postlethwaite as Father Lawrence, who not coincidentally was in Alien 3, which was another long MTV video. We got Paul Sorvino and Brian Dennehy playing the rival families, I guess. Paul Rudd from Knocked Up. And then we've got Emmet Walsh, which is the only reason why I watch this movie. He's the only decent acting job, as far as I could tell. So what can I say? Like I said, the Shakespearean lines are pretty spot on, but the acting is horrible. For instance, the flat-chested white girl, Juliet, she's probably a prime example in this movie. And she's not all that pretty, except when you see Romeo sneaking into her bedroom or whatever. It just makes you more depressed that you're not taking part in anything exciting. So there's that. I never could understand Shakespeare's play Romeo and Juliet. Never really got into it much. I much preferred Hamlet, actually. At least Sir Laurence Olivier's rendition of Hamlet. So, not a big fan of the play Romeo and Juliet to start out with. But when you start mixing it with modern day stuff, guns instead of swords, I guess, it becomes even all the more ridiculous. The idea of love at first sight is kind of passe these days. I guess it was more plausible during Shakespearean time. They even use some weird-looking transvestite guy in this one. The guy who played Mercutio. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Basically, it's about two rival families. They're always fighting with each other, guns and cars and whatnot, which didn't exist during Shakespeare's time, presumably. So they give it a modern feel. Like I said, they try to make it look like a big, long MTV video with lots of crappy pop music. And I definitely won't be buying the soundtrack off Capitol Records, which is a crappy label to begin with. But In any case, the two rival families are fighting. Romeo from one side goes to the other family's party for some reason that I can't understand. He notices Juliet and they fall in love instantly, as I said before. Supposedly, they get married by this Father Lawrence guy, but then all of a sudden, the Paul Rudd character wants to marry her, which doesn't make sense if she's already married to Romeo. But one family member dies, the other one, Romeo kills the other family member who murdered his friend, and he gets banished to some trailer park. He starts living like a trailer trash dude. Meanwhile, Juliet poisons herself rather than marrying him. Paul Rudd character. Um, so, Romeo finds out at the last minute that is the love of his life, his dream girl Juliet, poisoned herself rather than marrying that other dude. And he becomes suicidal. He goes up to her deathbed at church, this ridiculous looking thing with neon crosses. Kind of remind me of Brazil. Another thing that annoyed me about this movie, not that I don't like Brazil, but this movie in particular, the thing that I hated about it was the jump cuts. It just give me a headache. Plus, it's 2 hours long. The editing is very sloppy in this, and it looks like it was intentional, like it was supposed to be some kind of cool new age type directing, I guess, or editing, whichever the case may be. I guess both editing and directing go hand in hand. Maybe not in this movie, but certainly not in Caligula. I guess that's the director's job to edit the film, but yeah, it was like Godard on steroids. It was giving me a headache. The jump cuts and the sloppy editing aspect of it. Gets a 6.8 rating on IMDb, which is quite generous, I might add. I gave it 1 out of 5 stars. Uh, so Romeo is at Juliet's deathbed, but it hasn't been 24 hours yet. So supposedly she comes back to life while he's drinking the poison. Sorry if I spoiled the ending there, but not that it matters. You've probably seen the play or you've seen the movie. So even the IMDb raters thought it was quite mediocre, and I think it gets 3 out of 5 on Netflix, which is sort of like the mediocre rating. I guess that would equate to a 6 rating on IMDb, somewhere around there. Anyways, I hate this flick. Skip it, haters.